is Saturday night. It's January 7th, 2023. Happy New Year to all Boilermaker Nation out there. I don't think we haven't recorded one in the New Year yet, have we? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. That's how the week's been. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I was lucky I got the Saturday night part right. And am I correct here? Is this the first ever Saturday night podcast we've ever done?
It's got to be. I feel like we haven't done. We've done a lot of Sundays. We've done, quite a few Mondays. Obviously, I think we did Mondays for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we've ever done a Saturday.
I don't think so. I couldn't think. I was trying to think maybe we won a basketball game one year, like a Saturday afternoon or a noon game, and then they won at night, but I don't recall. So
we've done. I know we did a Sunday like morning / early afternoon for a trivia show earlier this year. Or I guess towards the end of last year, right before basketball season.
That's right.
Well, might be a first.
Here we are. Might be a first and could be a last. With our schedules, this is hard to do, but we decided, well, this might be our only shot this week to get a pot in. And a lot has happened around Purdue athletics this week, particularly on the basketball court, as our Boilermakers have went 1-1 so far, dropped a heartbreaker on Monday to Rutgers, a 1-point loss, then bounced back with a thrilling win on Thursday night in Columbus with a 2-point win. So we'll see what happens tomorrow against Penn State at
Palestra,
one of the more historic basketball arenas in the country. Got to think it's going to be another close one.
Yeah, I think I read. I think it's sold out. You got to think probably a lot of it's going to be just local basketball fans and probably going to be cheering for Penn State. One being the local team, and also cheering against as of right now the number one team in the country. So everyone wants to see the number one team fall. So it'll probably be definitely a way more raucous environment than the Bryce Jordan Center ever would be.
Oh, absolutely. That the Bryce Jordan Center, never been there, but it looks like a beautiful arena. And
I've heard it's really incredible, like in terms of like a facility.
Right, it's really big, and they get no attendance. So smart move by Penn State to put this game, knowing where they did, knowing their students weren't going to be in school. So we shall see. But let's go ahead and kind of recap the games from this week.
Are we going to talk about football at all, or
we can talk about football too? There's been a lot of coaching news.
There was a game played from what we were told.
Oh, see, I already forgot. I honest to God forgot about it. That was Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Monday this week. Yeah, we could talk about that too. Wow, that's embarrassing. I completely forgot about that. But
easy to forget.
Let's go ahead and get that out of the way then.
Yeah.
Since it's easy to forget. Yeah, Purdue got absolutely shellacked in the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. What was it? 63-7? 62-7? Something like that.
I think it was a 56-point loss. I think is what it looks like. It's like it tied for biggest loss of all time. Like it's happened 2 other times. One of them being, which I forgot about this, but against Ohio State in 2013, Hazel's first year, we lost 56-0.
I knew we down 49-zip at half that game.
Yeah,
but
let's see here. I think
this game was ugly. I expected to lose. I expected to lose by, I thought about 24 points. Did not expect to lose by 56.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Offense couldn't move the ball. I mean, defense kind of started out decently well, and then kind of just their talent level and I think their size definitely kind of eventually just broke us, and our just lack of depth. I mean, we talk versus any SEC team. Obviously, LSU was without some good players for opt-out reasons or whatever, transfers, whatever it may be, but SEC depth's a little different, especially at a school like LSU. It'd be one thing if it was, I don't know, like Arkansas. I don't know how good Arkansas was this past year, but something like maybe like a mid-tier SEC team. But when you're talking LSU, who won a national championship just 2 years ago, going on 3 years, it was tough to watch. Let me pull up the stats here. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot of. Tanner has to take a second and take a phone call apparently, so I'm just gonna ramble here. I mean, on the Purdue side of nothing, we played technically 4 guys through passes, including Abdur-Rahman Yassin, receiver, who completed a pass 1-for-1. Had the best QBR of the whole team, 99.3. Austin Burton got his start, I think is his 3rd career start at Purdue. I know he started earlier this year. I think it's Florida Atlantic. He played because that's when AOC was hurt. and he didn't do a whole lot. 12 for 24, 74 yards, no touchdowns, average only of 3 yards per pass, and he threw an interception. It just was not Austin's day from in any stretch of the imagination. Alimo came in. I thought he should have came in sooner than he did. But again, we're going back to what we were kind of talking about. We kind of had a lame duck staff, so there's not really a whole lot of incentive to put Alimo in earlier than he probably should have been in. But he went 4 for 11 for 37 yards, 1 touchdown, the lone touchdown, and 1 interception. Jack Albers came in at the end, went 2 for 6, also threw an interception. So it wasn't the best day for the Purdue QBs.
Yes, I'm back now. Sorry about that. I had to step away for a second. But, it wasn't. I heard you say it wasn't best day for the Purdue QBs. That's an understatement.
No, as you're walking away, I said the person with the best QBR that day was Abdur-Rahman Yassin, who went 1 for 1 for 26 yards and had a 99.3 QBR.
It was, honest God, the best pass, pass somebody threw for Purdue all day.
Yeah.
Very forgettable game.
Yep. One of the narratives going into the game was, can Maccabee 1,000th yard for the season? Didn't happen. I think he needed like upwards of 90, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he only got 48.
People on Twitter were in an uproar about him not getting it and the staff not putting him in. I didn't care. I was like, don't get him hurt. I mean, next year's more important. We're already losing by 1,000. I mean, I get it. It's a great accomplishment, but also, Corey Sheets was the last person to do it, and when he did it, he didn't even play in a bowl game. It was just the regular season. And
so that's why.
So now we're counting the Big Ten Chip and the bowl game. It's
right. It's like when I look at that, I was like, when I think of those types of workers, I'm like, I want to see it happen in the regular season, because when you have all these extra games, like it's great and obviously something you can talk about, but I have to lose a little bit of luster when you're tacking on, especially now. I mean, looking at this is kind of tangent, but there was news that Cam Allen was coming back for his 5th year, 6th year. And he is, it's going to be hard to do, but he's at 10 interceptions right now, which if he just gets like one more, he's automatically like in the top like 5 or 3 all time at Purdue. And it's like, if he gets to that, if he somehow gets to that 17, it's like, okay, yeah, he breaks it. But now we're looking at guys who have played 5-6 years versus guys who played, 3 and 4, maybe 5. But it's just kind of the way college sports are today.
I am looking forward to, though, after next year when the COVID years are done. So we get back to just 4 or 5 year guys, maybe an occasional 6-year guy if there's been some injuries, but you're not going to see like 7-year guys. Like we have.
Yeah. So. Nothing really big on the receiving end. TJ Sheffield led all receivers with 7 catches. Maccabee was second with 3. Just not a whole lot going on. I said defense played, leading tacklers were Bryce Hampton and OC Brothers and Cam Allen. Not a whole lot really, as we kind of have seen in similar bowl games in the past decade that just want to forget about.
And now majority of staff that coached the bowl game is headed down south to start their new jobs with Louisville. Some are going elsewhere. Some are not sure what they're going to do. And we've seen some Purdue players opt out or not opt out, hit the transfer portal over the last month. But positive news this week, we saw a lot of key contributors announce they're coming back to Purdue for 1 more year. So OC Brothers, Eric Miller,
Cam Allen,
Jamari Brown, thank you. Reese Taylor wanted to, but he's done with eligibility.
He's played 4 years at Indiana.
That's saying something there. So, and Hudson Card's officially a Boilermaker now. Big transfer portal addition. Quarterback from Texas with 3 years of eligibility remaining. We'll see who else Walters and staff adds. You got to think there's some more coming in the portal soon.
Oh yeah, I think the period ends pretty soon, so this is probably gonna be a pretty busy week for everybody. Throughout the entire country of trying to. I know we saw, if you follow people on Twitter, there were some names being thrown around of potential portal transfers that were on visits, which was awesome to see. But it's a matter of now. It's what's crazy about this transfer is these kids have to make probably the one visit they've ever made at this school, and then they got to make a decision on that in about 2 weeks, which is crazy. But it's
the times. It's the times now, whether we like it or not. But Walter's staff's getting closer and closer to completion every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with a lot of the names he's adding, but a lot of people on Twitter that are more familiar with the everyday coaches seem to be reacting to it pretty positively.
Yeah, I think obviously one thing you notice is the ages of all these coaches, and
Youth movement.
it's a lot of youth movement. Not many guys over the age of 40 on this staff. It seems like. I mean, as we were texting in our group chat with Andrew, who couldn't be here tonight. We have an outside linebackers coach who's 26 years old, which is younger than my sister, who I still think is like in high school when she's a grown woman teaching now, but still it's wild to see that, usually, obviously you see it with like grad assistants, but it's like when you have an actual position coach is that young, it's pretty great. Walters himself isn't too much older than we are.
No.
Which is scary to think about. And we got a guy who was like 50 something. It's like, man, it's a grandpa out there compared to everybody else on staff.
Somebody's got to keep the guys in line.
Yeah. But no, it's awesome. I think that, I've heard Brian Newber talk about it. You'd think with a younger staff, probably more likely to be, fluid with how the college football is moving when it comes to transfer portal, NIL. You get some of these guys who've been around for so long. It can be, they can be hard to adjust or hard to adapt. With young guys, it's like, they're still hungry, which is awesome. Obviously a lot of these guys are probably looking for a stepping stone job, but hey, we can be good enough for that to happen. They'll just attract even more talent. We kind of see with Painter all the time with, we lose assistants feel like every year or two, but it just proves that because he's got a good system that can get these guys a head coaching job, which is what these guys ultimately want to do, run their own program. So being able to attract young talent, which is going to be really fun. A lot of Texas coaches too, which is really cool, and be interesting to see if we can pull some talent out of that state.
It'd be great to get that pipeline going again. Joe Tiller and his staff are really good at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the high school football state of America for a reason. So it'd be great to start getting some talent. Drew Brees helps down there too a little bit, and that never hurts, having his presence. But since he grew up there, I should say, I know he lives in Louisiana now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who else he fills out the staff with. I do like how the staff's active on social media, at least on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So far, that's pretty cool. I like seeing Corey Patterson, the wide receivers coach, trying out all the spots. I saw he went to the Bryant last night, and he, I think, might have went to the Tap today. At least that's what it looked like on his Twitter.
I think one of our coordinators, went to Triple X yesterday or something. So it's a good spot to stop at.
Well, we got a sponsor later that they're going to have to stop at if they haven't already, which you did earlier this week. You'll have to talk about that too when we get to that read. But yeah, it's going to be a busy next couple weeks for Purdue because I think the February signing date's going to be a lot busier than the December one was. At least I hope so.
Yeah, hope so too.
Do you think we could see Lawrence Johnson, Branson Dean, or Jack Sullivan, any of those guys come back?
I think so. I think even a guy like Brady Allen. I know he visited Ole Miss this weekend
or yesterday.
Yeah. Which I'm not sure what all he's looking for when it comes to. I know because they've got a guy who's going to be playing. I think their starters coming back next year, so it's not like he can just step in right away. But I think so. I think especially with now the staff is filling out, being able to. Have these guys talk to these guys. Obviously it has to fit their system too, but I feel like part of these guys want them back just because it's just, if anything, depth and experience.
Right.
But I could definitely see some guys come back. I don't think all of them. We saw Mike, Alimo come back last year when he put his name in. Now
he had a cryptic tweet yesterday.
He did, yeah. It was a good movie when he was tweeting from American Psycho.
Yeah.
But I don't know if maybe that if he does stay with that, that probably factors into Brady Allen's decision because of the res right now. He was third in depth chart going into the at the end of the year, and he'll be probably coming in third in depth chart still. But yeah, we'll see. But I definitely see some guys on the defensive side coming back just because of the staff that's been put together and who Walters is as a coach.
And that's what I was thinking when those three starting defensive linemen put their name in. I was bummed. I'm like, maybe they don't think they're a fit in the type of defense he's going to run. I don't know. It's hard telling, or maybe they're just weighing their options. Mm-hmm. And
you wonder with some of these guys too, especially like a Sullivan or the guys who have been playing for a long time. If they have one more year, it's like maybe they're just looking for NIL opportunities before they maybe they know that the NFL is probably a long shot for them. Maybe a practice squad, which is still a great opportunity. But I mean, why not make some money while you can before it's while it's at least guaranteed a little bit.
That's a good point. There's so much to go in consideration for these college athletes now when making decisions like this.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun to keep our eye on and follow all of our social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Boiler Break Pod. But Twitter's where we're the most active, and especially with staff additions and transfer portal news and recruiting news and stuff like that. We try to retweet the experts out there who are getting the day scoop. So, and Evan does a great job usually during the basketball games. So,
gotta censor myself sometimes.
I think we all do.
I don't like the feed being all about the officials, but man, they do a great job of stealing the show.
At least we're not an account that follows Iowa or Indiana, because that would have been really bad the other night.
Oh yeah, watching that game, that was
my God.
I mean, it's the same official we had for
Courtney Green shouldn't have a job.
Yeah, it was dude who just makes himself noticeable.
Yeah, like I was telling somebody at work the other day, like good officials, I shouldn't know your name.
Correct.
It's kind of like
unless you've been around for like a Jim Bird who was around for a million years, or a Teddy, TV Teddy.
And the first time the first time I learned Bird's name was because of an awful game that he ref.
Yeah.
Like, who is this guy? So,
yeah, but it's like when we're learning guys when they're kind of brand new.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's kind of what I say. Like, you don't want to know the long snapper or the holder's name.
Yep.
Because if so, some went bad on a crucial field goal attempt.
Yep.
So, yeah, you never want to know those guys.
Sorry, Ohio State.
Hey, the snap and hold is good.
The snap hold's good, yeah.
The kid just hooked it. And on that point, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm glad to hear that he's not getting too much slack.
Yeah,
from the fan base.
Because as soon as it happened, I was watching it with my fiance. I was like, man, that kid could get death threats.
Yeah, I was going to say, he might not be able to step back on campus, but it sounds like the fan base has been pretty positive towards him.
That's good.
Nobody wants to make the kick more than that kid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's I would not want to be a kicker.
Yeah, I mean, also too, even with anything like that, it's like there's a lot of like, okay, what could they have done to give him a better shot? Because obviously, if he's 5 yards further, 5 yards closer, maybe he isn't in that mental state. I've never kicked, in a football game ever, but I feel like if you're 5 yards closer, you can maybe adjust how you're going to approach. Because maybe where that distance, he was just trying to just get it there, and that could have affected how he kicked it.
Yep.
Kickers in the comments, feel free to chime in and tell me if I'm wrong or on the right track. But I feel like the way they were driving, I feel like Ryan Day's play calling just kind of changed up dramatically, just to almost like just not give the game away. But I feel like they could have helped him out a little bit more.
Ryan Day better beat Michigan next year. That's all I got to say, or he's probably in trouble, which is crazy. Just crazy, but hey, that's the expectations there. So
yeah.
Expectations. But let's switch gears and talk about the basketball team this week. Like we mentioned in the opening, 1-1 so far, with one more to play tomorrow at Penn State. But going into the week, I told a lot of people I would take 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Then we drop Mondays.
Yeah.
In the fashion we did, I'm like, oh God, like
we're going 0-3.
yeah. I literally thought like we're gonna go 0-3. We're gonna fall from number 1 to like unranked. We're gonna fall in the middle of the season's just gonna go to where we thought we were gonna go in the first place when it started, in like 7 to 10 seed line.
Yeah.
But it was great to see the guys bounce back in Columbus on Thursday. But speaking of Monday's game, part of me is glad we won't see Rutgers unless we meet with them in the Big Ten tournament.
I'm so glad we don't go to the rack.
Another part's of me
Jersey Mike's Arena.
Kind of wishes we could go to Jersey Mike's and try to get some revenge. But my God, do they own the state of Indiana right now?
Yeah. Well, I think they said, I saw John Rothstein say that in his last 6 meetings, Pikel's 5-1 against Purdue.
Yeah,
which is like,
and he beat Indiana, I think 7 times in a row, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Ron Harper just last year alone. Had the buzzer beater against Purdue when we were number 1, and then later in the year had not a buzzer beater, but like a game-winning shot at Indiana.
That should have kept them out of the tournament.
Yeah, should have kept them out of the tournament. So it's like, Rutgers likes the state of Indiana a lot.
Rutgers, they're good. I mean, I honestly think they might be second best team in the conference right now. They're a good team. I mean, Pikel's done a great job in turning that program around. They definitely belong in the Big Ten in basketball, at least for basketball. but they're physical. They're probably the most physical team in conference.
Yeah.
But they're going to chirp at you too. They're extremely.
Oh yeah, well, especially this team
cocky.
because they're so old that you guys are just. Mulcahy is meant as I wanted to run him over with my car like that. He's not great. Like he's not gonna be playing in the NBA by any stretch of the imagination. But like he's a great college player. Like he's not flashy in terms of like his scoring ability, but like he's just solid. Well, he didn't turn the ball over a single time. At Mackey. Mackey was, for not having students, that was one of the loudest environments I was able to go to it with my dad.
They said it was number 2 in the decimal meter all
time.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I remember there was a point where in the second half when it got really loud, everybody was standing up with like 8 minutes to go in the game. Like every defensive possession, people were on their feet, like going nuts. And there was a point where I think Purdue either got the lead or was like really close. And either they called a timeout or there was a whistle blew. Like I didn't hear it, couldn't hear it at all. Like it was absolutely wild, but Rutgers was not phased one iota. Like that was the one thing that I was really impressed with, and as much as I hated about them is that like it didn't matter. Like they were just so solid. And for that kid who was a transfer to hit that shot at the end,
Cam Spencer.
Yeah, that was just gutsy. And I said, going back to Mulcahy, he was just solid. They got eating that pick and roll, and he got to the lane and just was nails every time. It was annoying. But yeah, they're just, going to what you said about the second best team. I think you're probably right. I still think they're a great team. Obviously they fit the Big Ten really well. I could easily see them getting bounced first round just because they're limited from a skill wise, but at the end of the day, that defense is gonna just. Now you wonder how that's gonna work in a non-Big Ten officiated game because the Big Ten officials, as we know, let murder get by sometimes.
Other time it's touch fouls.
Right.
Pincer you are if you wear number 23 in crimson and cream or 15
or
black and gold.
Yeah. Or it's in that Rutgers game, Edey, his first foul was horrible. The guy just fell down and Edey just happened to be right by him, so they called him for a foul, which completely, I think that definitely changed because then he couldn't be as aggressive as he wanted because it was 30 seconds into the game. Sorry, my dog is barking. But it was pretty crazy how just add that one foul, our aggressiveness.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was interesting to see Purdue play with Edey with 2 fouls when he got in foul trouble. He came back. He started taking over the second half. You knew Purdue was going to chip away. I think they were down 12 at halftime. You knew they were going to chip away. Fletcher Lawyer hits a big 3 towards the end of the game to get up 2 points.
Huge.
29 seconds left. I turned to my fiance and I just said, cannot give up a 3-point look. Can't give up a 3-point look. And then they're backing down Braden Smith. Ethan Morton came down to help a little bit, which was the right move because they'd been scoring on those back downs. Kicks out. Brandon Newman tries to close out on Cam Spencer. Pump fake. Good play. Nails. Makes it. But Purdue still had 14 seconds left. Got a good look by Brandon Newman. Just didn't fall. I still think.
Great look.
I know Matt Painter has caught some flack from certain people about calling timeout after Fletcher made that 3. I think that was fine, even though it gives Rutgers time to set up a play. You can set up your defense, and you can talk about, even though he had another timeout to use and he ultimately used it, you can call what you want to run too after if they score. So I was fine with that.
I think, it was to get Ethan back in the game because he was the one who was – because before that, Mulcahy was having his way with Braden and anybody who was guarding him. So you needed to get Ethan, our best on-ball defender, on him, which is what he did. But obviously it kind of sucks because Ethan was the one who kind of got a little bit lost and turned around on that last play that resulted in them hitting the 3. But I had no problem with timeout at all.
Yeah. So, it was a tough one to swallow. I was really interested and nervous to see how the guys were going to bounce back on Thursday. And most of the first half, I was yelling, screaming. Purdue gets down 12. I'm like, we're gonna get blown out. And and you know, our last 12 losses, I don't know if you knew this or not, have been by 3 points or less, or in overtime.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
So if they've been in regulation, they've been 3 points or less, or if it's been by more than that, it's been in overtime. So a lot of close games. We haven't got blown out in a while. Knock on wood here. But the guys battle back, chipped away to get within 3 at halftime. And then second half was just back and forth. And Purdue found themselves down 3 with 40 seconds left after a guy from Ohio State who hadn't done much, who got hurt, made a 3. I'm like, here we go again. I even yelled, I can't take this twice in 1 week. Then Purdue got a 2-pointer by Zach Edey. It took a little while, but it was fine. Got what we wanted. Set up some good defense. Ethan Morton pulled his best impersonation of Larry Bird there, jumping in front of the pass, getting a steal. Tried to work around some offense. Painter realized they wasn't going anywhere, so he ended up and called timeout. Set up a good play, got the ball into Edey. They doubled. He kicked it out to Fletcher Lawyer, which of all the guys on Purdue, not sure why they left him wide open. Fletcher, for the second time in the week, proved that he has ice in his veins, hit the big 3 to get up 2 with 10 seconds left. Ohio State calls timeout. Once again, I said just no threes. No threes. They came down. I don't even know what they tried to run. They kind of fumbled the ball around.
Well, because they got to they brought it to half court and then called a timeout, so they got that. So like you said, their half court offense with was like 7 seconds left or something like that.
That's right.
And then I think they tried to screen for Sensabaugh, who was he's an incredible guy.
I think he'll be freshman of the year.
Yeah, I hope he goes pro.
He's really good.
But he was just absolutely solid. But yeah, they tried to get him free. It didn't work. I think Ethan fell down or someone fell down trying to guard him, and then Braden did a great job. And they forced him into it. I'm not even sure if he made that shot. I don't think he would have counted. I don't think he got it off in time.
I thought it was going in.
I did too. But like it was not a great shot at all. So it was that was.
If that would have went in and counted, I don't even know. I don't even know what I would have done at this point. Like, I don't know.
I think we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I acted a lot better in the second half than the first half. First half, I can't remember the last time I've yelled that much in a basketball game. It's been a long time.
Well, it's just it was the fact that we came off a loss and then we start out like 0 for 10 from 3 to start the game.
Yeah,
it was like oh my god, you're just not gonna be able to hit anything, which because kind of got overlooked and not really talked about that. But the second half of the Rutgers game, we shot like 5 of 12 from 3, so not bad, like a lot better than what we have been. And so I was like, okay, maybe that's going to jumpstart us. At least we lost, but at least these guys, they hit shots. Newman was hitting shots. Lawyer hit that, that big shot. And then we started 0 for 10. I'm like, oh my god, like we're never going to really hit 3 again. And then our first 3 was like Jenkins and then Morton. I was like, this is, if these guys are the ones hitting threes, like this may not be great. I mean, obviously it's nice to hit them, but Jenkins was huge. I think he had 3 threes. Mason had some big threes and big moments that kind of
Braden hit big ones.
Yeah, Braden hit when he's our best 3-point shooter right now, percentage wise. But yeah, Mason and Jenkins really kind of jump started the comeback that got us down to 3 at half, which I was really happy just to be down by 3 after what we saw, and then from there it was went to fed the big fella and played pretty decent defense for the most part.
Yeah, turnovers still an issue. Last 2 games, turnovers have been pretty big number. Free throw shooting was, I don't even remember what it was the other night, but
I can tell you.
Hadn't been the greatest this week, but we've seen worse.
We were 8 of 10.
8 of 10, okay. That wasn't near as bad as I thought it was.
Rutgers, we were 19 of 28. It's 9. Yeah. So that was again going back to, a little like turnovers and free throws, like simple game.
Yep. Big Ten plays unbelievably tough. Everybody knows each other really well. Coaches know each other really well. It comes down to little things like turnovers, free throws, grabbing rebounds. I remember one time we didn't grab the ball like 3 straight times on a possession on rebounds, and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs to grab the rebound. But it's a battle. But Purdue finds themselves first place in the Big Ten, thanks to Michigan losing to Michigan State today, and Wisconsin losing to Illinois. So everybody already has through 4 or 5 Big Ten games has a Big Ten loss.
Yeah, it's going to be. What do you think about the Big Ten this year? Because there was going into the year, it was Big Ten's not going to be strong because everybody lost all these great guards. Obviously it'll be the year of the bigs, but there's not. When you look at some good teams, but there's no title contenders, Final Four contenders, and then you got through like November and December, and it was like, oh, the Big Ten's pretty good because you had obviously Purdue beating Duke and West Virginia and Gonzaga, and you had North Carolina and Xavier, Illinois beat Texas, and then it was like, okay, the Big Ten's legit, and then all of a sudden Iowa's losing to Eastern Illinois. Illinois free falls a little bit. And now it's like, I'm trying to think, what's your thought on the Big Ten so far?
I mean, I think they'll end up with 6 to 7 tournament teams. 8 might be stretching it. I mean, I'm biased. I think Purdue's got what it takes to make the Final Four. Mm-hmm. But it also wouldn't surprise me if for the second consecutive year, Purdue, the Big Ten doesn't get a team past Sweet 16. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Purdue's definitely ahead of schedule. Actually, Mark Titus had a really good segment after Purdue lost to Rutgers, the Titus Tape podcast. They had a really good segment, which I'm always afraid to listen to them after Purdue loses because they have no trouble. I have no problem, ripping on Purdue, which is whatever. They actually had a really good segment where they kind of said, like, Purdue's fine. They're ahead of schedule. Like, going into the year, like, we had no expectations. And then all of a sudden we had a really good week in Portland and that changed things. But at the same time, like, these are still like freshman guys, but they're stepping up. I mean, the fact that Lawyers hit what could have been game-winning threes in back-to-back games as a freshman is huge, and just shows that he's got all the confidence in the world. So he can keep shooting those for all I care.
Shooters keep shooting.
Yep. I think the Big Ten's okay. I don't think it's anything to write home about.
I'd say it's the second best conference right now. I think the Big 12 is the best.
I would agree. I feel like every year that we could say, like, the winner of the Big Ten could have 7 losses. It's like, 6 losses. It's probably going to be like someone's going to end up with like 4 or something, something stupid. But I think people are going to get beat up on a lot. As we're already seeing, like Indiana's lost 2 starters to injury, which is huge. Wisconsin lost Tyler Wall for who knows how long. That was huge. I think they beat Illinois today if they had them. So it's, we'll see. And then I think the bottom's better. Some of the bottom, like a team like Penn State, who was has been a basement dweller for a while. Like, they're dangerous, as we're going to find out tomorrow. They're making bombs away. Yep. Nebraska's got 2 wins already. Minnesota played them really close. I think Minnesota, if they can keep their guys together, they could be a pretty decent team in the year or two if they can hold everybody. But they'll probably take their lumps this year. They're pretty young. But I think it's going to be, as we've heard people say, it's not winning the Big Ten is not about beating the best team. It's just not losing to the worst teams on a random Tuesday night at 9 p.m.
Amen to that.
So we'll see.
You got to bring it every night. We know that as Purdue fans, as Big Ten fans, you got to.
Dan, I cannot hear you. If you can hear me,
I can hear you.
Technical difficulties on a Saturday. Maybe this is why we shouldn't do Saturday podcasts.
Can you hear me now?
Let me see here.
I can hear myself, and it looks like my mic's working.
Maybe it might be I think my AirPods might have.
Okay.
Yep, AirPods are not connected.
Okay, I was gonna say my mixer's showing that my mic's working, so it's all right. It's not a podcast anymore if I don't have some sort of technical difficulty, whether it's on a Monday, a Wednesday, a Friday, a Saturday night like tonight. There's always technical difficulties going on. But
yep, I got you now. I'm not sure what's going on there.
No, like I was just saying, it's not a podcast anymore for me if I don't have some sort of technical difficulty. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday, a Wednesday, a Friday. In this case, a Saturday night. It doesn't matter. Something's not gonna go right. But that's 2023 for you. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game, 6:00. I usually don't like when Purdue games intermix with NFL. Especially the last regular season, but in this case, it saves me from having to watch the second half of a 4-win Broncos team who plays the Charger team that doesn't have much to play for because they're in the playoffs. So, but no, I do think Purdue will win tomorrow. I'll throw out a prediction of 74-67.
Okay, I was gonna say like 78-74. I think it's gonna be pretty close. Just with, I guess it depends on if they're hitting or not. How they're small. How are they going to guard Zach Edey? Do they go just small and kind of almost make the decision of are we taking him out from a defensive liability standpoint? But if we can stay out of foul trouble and if we can hopefully hit, like as long as they're not bombing away and hitting them, I like our chances.
Yep.
It's true. So he's a good coach, so he'll know. He's coached these guys, so he knows probably better than anybody in the Big Ten. Maybe outside of Izzo, so it'll be interesting to see what he brews up.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see Purdue play in this environment tomorrow instead of the Bryce Jordan Center. So looking forward to it. And like I said, when you meet my goal of the start of the week of 2-1, it's just not the 2-1 I thought. Honestly,
Right.
when I predicted it on Monday, I predicted beat Rutgers, beat Ohio State, lose to Penn State. That was my prediction.
My thought, at least what I was okay with, was beat Rutgers, lose to Ohio State, beat Penn State. Just because, them being a ranked team, first probably like really good road test, which even, it sounded like, I'm not sure what the capacity was. It didn't sound like it was very full, but I think someone said it was like 90, it was still like 90% capacity.
It's not the greatest basketball venue.
Yeah.
It's very nice, don't get me wrong, but the atmosphere is not real intimidating like announcers say. At least when I went there, we were ranked 10th in the country. They were number 1. That should have been a crazy environment. I didn't feel like it was, but also they beat us by like 40.
Yeah.
So,
had you like Gus Johnson and kept reiterating Purdue number 1 for now.
I don't like Gus. I'm not a Gus fan. I like him more in football than I do basketball.
Yeah.
I've never cared for his basketball stuff, and Jim Jackson is what he is. He wasn't too bad the other night.
No, he wasn't too bad.
As bad as he could have been, but no, it's funny because when we were growing up, I felt like Ohio State was a pain in our side constantly, especially in Columbus. That was the one team Painter always struggled. But lately, we've had a pretty darn good look in Columbus. I think we've won 4 of our last 5 over there. So
ever since Mata left, we've had a lot more success.
Yeah, because for a long time it was always going to be a good game over there. We just always fell short. Even with some of our bad teams. But glad to get the win for sure, because we'll see them again in February. So, and it'll be a Sunday game, and it'll be another good one.
Key back, and he went out early in the game.
That's a good point.
That was a big loss for them in terms of just size to handle Edey.
Yep.
They're a good team. I don't see where they end up, but they definitely have the pieces. Like I said, Sensabaugh is phenomenal. He's only going to get better. I think he's really starting to emerge now. He's a guy who had no idea who he was coming into the year. And now everybody knows who he is. He was hitting. I feel like every time he shot the ball, it's like it's in. Like every time he shot, and same with
Suing.
Yeah,
God, he's really improved. He was not very good the last few years, and he's put.
Was he the one who was he out last year? Was that the one who was out last year, or who was the? Yeah,
I
he was
think
out
so.
all. Yeah, he was out all last year. Yeah.
The year before he wasn't that great, but he's put in work. You can tell. So props off to him.
Bruce Thornton's he's a freshman point guard. We look at him versus Braden. It was like Bruce, like he was a senior, just body size. So he'll be really good. Yeah.
Yep. Lost my train of thought. Awesome. Oh, one thing I was gonna. I have noticed last 2 games. It looks like we've shortened our rotation from 10 guys to 9. Brian Waddell's kind of for now.
Odd man out. Newman didn't play the whole second half, which we kind of found out was more due to illness, probably more than anything. I've liked the way he's been playing as of late. Obviously played a lot of minutes against Rutgers. I'm not sure how many minutes did Trey play. I think Trey played probably some of the least amount. He played 8. Yeah, so he played the least besides Newman, which Newman obviously was sick. Mason played 24. Caleb played 16. So we were really heavily on Mason there at the 4, even though first started. Which actually, if you Painter talked about that because first got the start, and then at the half, Jenkins took the place of Lawyer, and Mason came in for Caleb, which I remember Painter talking about how it's kind of like you hope it's double positive in terms of you reward the guy who's been playing well, but you hopefully it kind of lights a fire under the guy who has to ride the bench to start the half. But I think it worked out because obviously Fletcher hit the big shot when we needed it to. So,
well, that's 2 games in a row. He hadn't had the best first halves, but he's played well in the second half. So, find something there at halftime, something in that Gatorade.
Yeah.
But no, fun game nonetheless. The other night, thrilling. After wins like that, you're glad it was a fun, exciting game.
Yeah.
But during it, with whenever it gets under 2 minutes, it's tight like that. I can't sit. I'm up off the couch. I'm walking around. Feel like I'm going to throw up. Call it pathetic. Call it ridiculous. It is what it is. So
I'm at the Rutgers game. I was just like, I think it's almost better being there because like you're there. You can't really do anything. But it's worse when you're at home because I was the same 100%. Thing. Like the Ohio State game, I was just like pacing. Like I was the same thing. I'm going to throw up. Like this is terrible. At Rutgers, it was just like God. Just and then when Fletcher hit the shot, I'm like okay, here we go. And then when that guy hit the shot, I just sat down. I was like, gosh, dang it. I thought Newman shot just from where I was sitting. I thought it was in. And then when he missed it, I was like, dang it. And then we somehow got the ball back, and I was like, oh, well, are we actually going to pull this off? And then it was not a good pass.
I would have felt a lot better if it was 0.7 or 0.8 because you
Yeah.
can get a shot off and you don't have to just get a tip in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, tough one. But we knew we weren't going to go undefeated. So, yeah, get one tomorrow in Philadelphia and see where we're ranked. So, but we want to thank our sponsors of this podcast. First sponsors, Mad Mushroom. They've been on board now for a couple of years. And Evan, right here to my right on the computer screen, stopped in Mad Mush on Monday.
I did. Yeah, my dad and I, because we were going to the Rutgers game, we decided to get to campus in time to watch the football game. Our goal was to get Harry's and kind of see what the vibe was like, see if we get a seat. We did not get a seat, but we just decided to sit up at the bar and had my first Colorado root beer probably in 4 or 5 years. And it was tasted better than ever. Kind of didn't watch some of the game. We were just talking with some people just because there was really not a whole lot to watch. But I mean, the bar was packed. It was really fun. Good to be back at Harry's. Mad Mush let us know that they were across the street, so we made sure we paid a visit. It was my dad's first time having Mad Mushroom cheese sticks, and the first words out of his mouth after he took one was, "Wow, this is good." So it's Harry Webb approved.
Yes. What kind of dipping sauce? What kind of dipping sauce? Yeah.
Cheese.
Yeah,
nacho cheese. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with nacho cheese.
Yeah. But we got a small just because we didn't want to. I want to be able to make it through the Rutgers game without falling asleep of a happiness food coma. Checked out the Union for the first time since it had been renovated. It's wild.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't graduate that long ago, but it's like we walked through. I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at. And so at first I was like, okay. I remember like this was here. You know, the villa was here. Pappy's was here. You know, the study room was right here. Then like we turned the corner. I was like, okay, I'm completely lost. We ended up eating at,
man. It's sharp.
Yep, 811 Bistro. It had some appetizer, which was fantastic before the game. But yeah, it was good to be back in Mad Mush.
Yep.
I made it there last year for the Illinois game on Martin Luther King Day, but I didn't have cheese sticks. I had pizza. Really good to get some delicious cheese sticks in my face.
Well, when you go to Mad Mush or you order online, use promo code BREAK5. That's in all caps, BREAK 5 or $5 off any order over $20. Or if you go there in person like Evan did on Monday, you order over $20 worth of food, tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you. You can get $5 off that way. And they got their brand new pizza of the month for January, which is Mason's Cheat Day. It's their traditional pizza sauce, deli pepperoni, spicy pepperoni, sausage, ham, salami, bacon, mozzarella cheese, and of course finished with a ranch drizzle. My question is that Mason Gillis's?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of curious. But either way,
Mad Mushroom, let us know.
Yes, we're gonna have to reach out to them. But either way, make sure you get some pizza and some cheese sticks, or some wings, or a sandwich, or all of the above. I don't care what you do. Just go there or order online. Get some.
They have
food.
beer too.
Get some beer while you're there. Drive responsibly.
Yep.
That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head. And of course, our other sponsor is the shop. And I saw they released some cool college shirts yesterday.
Yeah, some 90s and like kind of like vintage. Obviously, they're all vintage. I'm pulling them up here. Yeah, they did for a Purdue, IU, Butler, and I think Ball State and Indiana State. Yeah, kind of all kind of the same design, just kind of a 90s style basketball, kind of a faded print, stonewash tees look great. Purdue one's black, obviously. But if you get, I mean, the shop's been making t-shirts since 2011. They started out in a garage. Now they've got 2 brick and mortar stores, one in Broad Ripple in Indy, on north side of Indy, and then one in Carmel, near downtown Carmel. But if you want to go online, you can use promo code BREAKDOWN for 25% off. That's including these brand new shirts that just came out. It's including shirts that have been out for a couple of years. Anything on their store, use promo code BREAKDOWN for 20% off. They are great t-shirts. They fit incredibly well. I'm wearing kind of the new style for the jerseys that have come out with, that Purdue came out with. Incredibly comfortable. They fit really well. They have drinkwares. They do stuff for the professional teams in Indiana. They do stuff with the Indiana State Parks. Anything pop culture related. I mean, it's great if you're got some Christmas money, spend it on some stuff from the shop because they're great people.
I was wearing my Reggie Miller Flo Joe 31 T-shirt I got from the shop the other day, and it is stupid comfortable. And I was
wearing when we were down there on Monday. It was kind of crappy out. It wasn't raining, but it was kind of that. It was foggy out, but didn't need a jacket, so I was wearing my brand new drum script sweatshirt that I got for Christmas, and it was absolutely perfect for that type of weather.
Yep. Make sure you take advantage. Use the code breakdown for 25% off. You mentioned Ball State. This is off topic. Did you realize they've won 7 or 8 in a row?
I did not in basketball.
Former Hoosier Michael Lewis is in his first year there, doing pretty well. So keep your eye on him in the future when that fan base gets tired of Woody. Keep your if he keeps up doing well at Ball State. Keep your eye on him. That wouldn't shock me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So they've tried to get him on staff before. So. All right, Webby, any closing thoughts as we wrap up this Saturday night Boiler Breakdown podcast?
No, I mean, Thursday was a day that I was dreading just because after Monday, I was like, God, if we lose this one, like, I don't feel good about Sunday. And it kind of started out the same way and then obviously ended the way it did, which I was really glad. The game afterwards was hilarious to watch. But no, I'm excited to watch tomorrow. I wonder if they're gonna. I'm assuming they're probably gonna keep the floor how it is with the Penn logo in the center. I would assume they probably wouldn't do anything different for this. It's not like it's like it's not like it's some sort of like invitation or like that. So it'd be cool to see that. See Purdue play. I think they said there was put out a video earlier today. It was like I think this is the 9th time the number 1 team has played at the Palestra. I didn't realize that like Kobe Bryant played there in high school, which makes sense being a Philly kid. Like just how much history is in that building. I hope the guys really kind of embrace it and then just ball out tomorrow.
Yep, hit some shots, hit some threes in the first half. Don't wait till second half. So stay out of foul trouble, limit the turnovers, hit some shots because Penn State's gonna hit some shots.
Yeah,
so stay right with them. Stay right with them. Don't give yourself in a 12-point hole again like you have the last 2 games. Let's just keep it right around 6 or under, or just take the lead and don't give it up the whole game. That'd be cool too. So with that said, let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Nittany Lions.
Boiler up.